Okay, so saltwater crocodiles are our next type of reptile that we're going to be talking about. And so saltwater crocodiles are found in saltwater. That's why they're called saltwater crocodiles. They're also called estuarine crocodiles because they can be found in estuaries. And estuaries are where rivers run into the ocean. So it has what we call brackish water, meaning it's like half fresh water, half seawater. So it's not quite as salty as seawater, but not fresh water. Okay, and so they live in Australia and the Indian Ocean. You can find them like in India as well, and that they're the reason why it's like bad news to swim in certain parts of Australia. So like in certain areas of Australia, you're not supposed to go swimming because there's saltwater crocodiles. And saltwater crocodiles are not like sharks. They don't like mistake, people for food and then, take a bite and then leave. Um, Saltwater crocodiles will hunt people. Okay, so they will actually go after people for food. And it happens regularly. People ignore signs like, hey, don't swim here. And then they swim there and then they die because they are eaten by a saltwater crocodile. And these guys do not mess around. Okay, they are probably the most aggressive animal in the ocean because they will hunt people for food. So it's not good. Okay. Um, they do spend most of their time close to shore, but they can go out to sea, so they can actually migrate for hundreds of miles in the open ocean if they need to. And so they can swim out to sea. They eat mostly fish, but can kill people. And then they are hunted for their skin, because their skin makes great leather. So for like a crocodile skin purse, or shoes or a belt, okay? So people will hunt them for those reasons. And actually in Australia, they actually have saltwater crocodile farms. So we went to one when we went with the school on the trip, and like they showed us like where they hatch like the little babies, like, and they have the little hatchlings, and then we saw them feed like some of the bigger ones, and they even took us out. It's crazy, on a boat. So in this big pond where a lot of them live, and it had like these big things up the side so the saltwater crocodile can get into the boat. And then the guide at the front had like this big stick that had like this dead chicken carcass on it, and he would like take and like slap the carcass on the water and then lift it, and the crocodiles would jump out and like slam their jaws closed. It was insane. I dreamt of saltwater crocodiles that night. It was like freaky. So they can jump out of the water and like get things, and of course their eyes are like the freaky like cat slits, right? And so they just freak me out. So they're crazy. All right, so that's the saltwater crocodile. Sea snakes are another kind of reptile that you'll find in the ocean. And again, they're found mostly in Australia and the Indian Ocean, but that's not the only place where they're found. They are venomous. In fact, the most venomous snake in the world is considered to be a sea snake.
Lovely.
Yep. Um, so they're venomous. They do tend to stay near shore, but not always. They like to hang out around like coral reefs and stuff because that's where their main prey items are. And they do eat fish and eels. So, and they will do that by ambush hunting. So they'll kind of like, they'll hide and then pop out and grab the fish that swims by or the eel. So how many of you have ever eaten a fish and then you've gotten like one of the little bones, right, of the fish, and like in your mouth, and then you have to like pull it out, and it's like super annoying? Okay, so they eat these fish whole, right, just like any other snake would eat something whole, and they can't digest these bones. So rather than like risking having these bones like move through their intestinal tract and then like pooping out the bones, and risk having it like, puncture their intestine, what do? Well, this is the weirdest thing, I think. They actually push those bones out of their body wall.
Whoa, whoa.
So like they will, I know, when I first heard that, I was like, what? No, like that's not possible. But they literally, like, imagine you eating like a whole chicken. You swallow a whole chicken, right? And then you can't digest the bones, so you just like push the bones out of your body wall. That's what they do. It's not like pew 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 pew. It's not like fast. It's like it's like a slow process. So so like the bones are like the little fish bones, right? Yeah. So it'll take a couple days and they'll heal behind it, but it'll be like, that's crazy. No. They're reptiles, so they don't have to eat that often. Anyways, crazy, right? So weird. And then they're viviparous, guys. Viviparous. So sea snakes are the only type of reptile that are viviparous. So that means that they don't actually have to return to land to lay eggs. They give live birth in the ocean. Here's different pictures of different kinds of sea snakes. Sea snakes also have like a flattened paddle-like tail. So normal snakes are like tapered at each end, whereas these guys have a flattened paddle-like tail that they use to swim through the water. Okay, this is a picture of Steve Irwin the day before he died. The day before he died, he was wrestling a toxic sea snake. That is a giant sea snake. They are normally not that large. So that is a very, very large sea snake. Yeah. So the day before he died, he was wrestling the sea snake, and the sea snake like whipped around and was like, bared his fangs, like gonna bite the guy, and like he moved, so it couldn't. But basically, the day before Steve Irwin actually died by a stingray, he almost died by sea snake, because these guys are very venomous. Yeah. All right. The faint-banded sea snake. Faint-banded sea snake is the most toxic snake in the world, and it is a sea snake. So the inland taipan is the second most venomous snake in the world, and the faint-banded sea snake's toxins are considered to be 100 times more potent than the inland taipan. So this snake could kill you in less than half an hour, all right, if it bites you.